knowledge. A lot of our students, youth, young adults, and even adults, and some of our grandparents that were taken away from us. There's a really big, there's a wide gap between themselves and this cultural knowledge. And so I'm gonna hit on the story of the twins, but really, how can we connect with it? How can we use these stories in our daily lives? How can these stories be useful to us? But specifically, because I work with adolescents, it's going to be geared more towards them because that's a stage that is vital in human development. Um, Early childhood is a really good foundation, but I think when you get to adolescence, you come to multiple paths and crossroads that sometimes, even as adults, we're stuck at those crossroads. We're stagnant, and so I'm going to focus on that, and I'll explain why adolescence is that stage we're going to be focusing on primarily. So, how can we connect to the hero twin stories in our daily lives and moving forward? Halet al naso o das halet al naso yikha yishastole. So how do we do that? Not how, but just a perspective. So I've set a frequency. Mr. Belin A Tashit, Kevin AIC Shijit, Kevin Belin. Oh, yo, can you turn on this light for me? Yo, I didn't. So, Aro the Naval Preparatory de A Nanchkin. Aro Alchini Yajakon Shiata Alkato Kon, the net language culture, the Nebazat Asato Khan Anchkin. Aro the Neben Antkin, the Na Oho Ahegi, the Na Nekahanegi Nanchkin Kon. Aro Nana Sato cultural consultant, the Schliesle. So occasionally people ask me to do presentations. I've done presentations for UNM before with shoe game last year. So if you went to the shoe game last year, we had a really good time. Aro aton nensliniki ya twidich eat ni the nensnato okay washes chin katnas chero chishitashinadla. It's wasn't the skis. I see Irish aro kare satak an satak hata was gid I see kachike kakehist and the chada had it those are chishike. So this is just a quick outline. I kind of went off a little bit towards the end, but this is essentially what we're going to be looking at. Now, I encourage you, if you need to, take screenshots. This knowledge, the unleaded, the in the nap and can hello. This is so those of you on your screens, if you have an Apple, Command Shift 3, and then on your laptops you have what is it? Function F something. I seen somebody can put it in the chat. So use those tools. If you're gonna use these in a paper or whatever, because I know there's a lot of students using them, make sure you cite me. Just kidding. Anyways, let's move forward. So this is all borrowed knowledge. Our elders, my mom, my dad, my che, my grandmas, my knowledge. This is their teachings. Whether it was good or bad, I learned from them. There's several medicine men all across. I attended ceremony and just listening to them, you hear those beautiful songs and prayers. So that's where these teachings are from. Understanding our stories as more than legends and fairy tales. Understanding the complexity of the net stories. Wow, we're gonna look at that. Just understanding what were monsters, what could be some modern monsters, storyline of events, childhood of twins, the monsters, the trials, and the temptations. This sounds like a really good movie. Pixar, if you're listening, hey, consult me. We can make a really good movie. Yee. Okay. Are the net truth, man. Everybody, put your fist up, fist pump with me right here, because there's a delegitimization of the net thought, not just the net thought, but across the world, indigenous thoughts and stories through systematic assimilation, cultural genocide. Now it's focusing on assimilation. We're slowly losing our stories. So there's this pathway of genocide, delegitimization, romanticizing, and now appropriating our Diné life. I don't really get political, but when that QAnon shaman was in Phoenix saying, right here is Navajo, this is Navajo, Coyote, Coyote, this is their teachings, SMH, huh? Telling our stories is an act of resistance, resurgence, and healing. Oh man, you bless yourselves like that right here. How can we revitalize and heal our holistic being through Hanet? When we say Hanet, we are saying our stories, our lifeline, our truth. Learn the language. I see learning the language is hard. It's difficult. I have a book. There's the Young and Robert, Young and Morgan, that thick. There's three of them. Then there's another one all about verbs and trying to navigate the complexity of the verb system. The Schneesle. How am I gonna ever learn the language? The Schneesle. In this case, but every day, Aquanapan sis case Alsati compan sis case be hadesti Juno al case lo ashlin Juno dik at a hat kit sad halit al case and ad Juno at be hadesti. All of that internal process thinking about the language, because once you learn the language, you learn the songs. And you listen to that. Man, and when you hear that, I am me. I am walking among the monsters. Now I am Monster Slayer. And those daily affirmations that you get from your phone that pops up, ding, you are beautiful. You are as kind, you is smart, you is beautiful. All those affirmations are in our songs and prayers. Then reconciliation. Attending cultural events, lectures, presentations, conferences. That's the new modern way of conveying knowledge. Attend as many as you can. Get what you can. Somebody's paying for it. There's a grant. Like right now, individually, you guys aren't paying me, but that's okay. You and them say, you know what, Mr. Belin, you have something to offer here. I said, oh, Abiga, you're going to pay me for my time, but this knowledge is not mine. It's borrowed. Attend, engage, and live ceremonial life. We went to Hopi and we went over there and they tease us and they say, you Navajos don't really make it here at Hopi because living Hopi is hard. I said, living Navajo is hard too. Hopi's just from back that way again. So living the truth, the net indigenous, decolonized, de-assimilated, whatever you want to call it, that life, having to wake up in the morning, you have to wipe off your neck, those eye boogers, and you have to be ready to go. And then you have to go to sleep before 10 because that's the traditional way, because we're not supposed to be going around in the nighttime. See? Here's some of us, right? Insomnia. So let's go look first. Understand the Lagana story. You have folk tales. I just Googled this. American stories. You can Google this. This is not me. They'll share this need of fairy tales, legends, myths, fables, tall tales. I thought case and case to books, fiction, non-fiction, and they all have categories. Here's the story mountain. As a teacher, this is what I teach. And one of the things that I find is that as Navajo students, We don't follow this linear timeline of events when we storytell. And I gave a PD, and all the English teachers, they're like, "Oh my God, Mr. Belin, this is what we're talking about." Because when we, as Navajo people, even indigenous people, write stories, we start at one concept, we tie it to another one, start talking and get lost over here. Then we do a joke and anecdote. Then we say, "Hey, so we come back to the main topic over here. We write about that for a little bit. Another anecdote, another analogy. We go over here, talk about it. It looks like we're spiraling. We're going all around. Our thought doesn't follow this linear pattern, this way of thinking. And so you can, and in those stories, just like ours, you have the hero, the Mr. Kagu. Mr. Kagu. Auto enemy, threshold guardian shapeshifters. So I'm pretty sure you're well aware of this. This is what we teach our children. Yeah. Nas nan. But like I said, it's spiral. It spirals. It goes one way, but it comes back. It goes another, and it comes back again. And so, right in here, look at this little story. You're telling a story, first event, second event, third event, climax. Then you have what did they call it? Conflict. Then finally, you hit resolution. Let's go look at this. The three bears were at home, and then they had to leave. Goldilocks came by, knocked on the door. Nobody was home. And then she goes and eats their food and sleeps in their bed. And then the bears come back and they get mad, and Goldilocks just takes off. The end. I bet you there's a song in there, huh? Goldilocks, shush, hey, if you know Navajo, you'd be like, Goldilocks begin is. But then it goes to another one. Once the hero gets over this, it goes to another story. Then he goes through another action, another conflict. Then he comes back over here again. He's still on his journey, but he's going through conflict over here. He reaches another challenge, another impasse, another obstacle. Then he comes back over here. Then they come back over here. You get lost. You forgot where you're at. Now what happens here goes over here. But this is our way of storytelling. Now, some of you guys are like, "That's a lot. That's confusing." No, you'll get used to this thought pattern. What does it look like? So this is a story. Let's look at our ceremonial storytelling. Look at this. Look. Here's that spiral again. There's a spiral within a spiral, a story within the story, within the story, within the story, within the story. Then you come back over a story within a story, within a story, within a story, within a story. Then you come all the way to the top. And this is where you get our ceremonial stories, our songs. Nahast es chehut hane tantesa. Zil chejabahane. Na ye chebahane hut yata hasne. Hajine bahane. And then we wonder why, students get lost, or we get lost in the stories, because over here, Eileen O'Brien doesn't match up with these stories over here by Kalkhorn. Kalkhorn or Eileen O'Brien doesn't match up over here with who's another anthropologist that all the books are written after. And so they conflict sometimes. So let's go look at this right here. What do I mean? The birth of changing woman. See at the very bottom, it starts off, that's a story within a story within a story, the birth of changing woman. Yet when we teach these, or when Hatashis tell these stories, they give it to you in 30 minutes, right? And we think that when we think that's the entire story, we think that's it. It's clear cut and dry. Puberty ceremony of changing woman. That's a long story again. We can spend all night talking about it. Land of the monsters. The birth of the twins, the childhood of the twins, the journey of the twins, the trial of the twins, the gift and temptations of the hero twins, and now the final test and arrival. This is just the first half of the story. Then there's the other half where they go and kill each of the monsters. They save the monsters. They give back their armor. They travel back. So I hope this helps you understand the complexity of our Diné stories. It's not linear. Okay. So let's look at various interpretations. Cool. If there's any, if there's chats, I usually don't see it because I'm really into this. So um, I'll probably have to save the questions till the end. Okay. So if we look at the story of Coyote, this is all we see of him, right? Coyote the trickster. Oh my God, he's so funny. He slid down the rocks with the lizards and died. And oh, that's such a great story. Let's get a tattoo on my hand, on my arm right here. He's such a trickster, that one. And then next thing you know, Q non shaman is citing Navajo medicine man over here. What's going on, huh? Trickster. So we talk about Mai as a trickster to children because children need that character. They need somebody they can relate to. Think about children, your young brothers, sisters, grandchildren. They're sneaky sometimes. They like to lie because of self-preservation. Think of all those childhood development research that child ed teachers go through. Then look at all of those things, right? When you get mad at them, I know you took the cookie. No, I didn't. And there's chocolate chips all around their mouth right here. I didn't take it. I can see clearly there's chocolate chips on your mouth. Brother gave it to me and he smeared it and he just ate the cookie. See, self-preservation. Ma'i does that, right? Ma'i likes to blame. Ma'i likes to do these crazy things. Ma'i does not listen the first time, the second, the third, the fourth time. When he finally, what is it called? Gets hurt, injured, or even dies. That's when he finally learns his lesson. Think about children in that sense. Nana sha tselketo chekekwa ni klinigi. We understand now the divine connection and messenger between the heavens and the earth. And if you know his name, that gives you so much power. Because Ma'i, if you talk about these stories, Ma'i travels the earth at night and at day. He sees all that is evil, all that is good. He sees all that's hidden. And he travels into the night sky. And he travels among the stars, among the big planets, among the Milky Way, and he comes back. He sees all, knows all. He's that omnipotent, what is it called? The all-knowing spirit. The oti gista. He's not stupid. He's not trickster. Okay. I don't know, but as adults, this is what we learned from Mai. His name again, the first disciplinary, not the angry one, because the first angry one would be like how do you say a sapachke. That's just like look at your face when you get mad, huh? Your face goes, stop it, mad at you. We're done, right? And we don't say that. His name, if you know it again, gives you power, gives you that knowledge because Ma'i is that disciplinarian. Ma'i. Okay? Ma'i understands and disciplines the holy people. Nana has tweeto sani chislinko e Nana Vision. He has another name as the ceremonial leader. Coyote helped with various ceremonies, creating songs and prayers. If you look in Hojonje, and Hojonje has his songs. But when we see Mai, because we're still up here as trickster, we're still, our mentality sometimes might be immature. But don't shoot it, hot. Oh man, honey, take out your thing and oh man, who's watching us now? What the what you need those days, huh? So so let's come here again. Complexity. I keep talking about this. The complexity of our stories. Winter. Chaigoteya. 3 months of darkness is ceremonial origin stories, prayers, and songs. There's an order. Not saying there's this my particular order though. Dido, Ashia Deshnida. But you look at the four worlds. You learn about black world, blue world, yellow world. You learn all about the chaos, all about the evils that occurred during that time, all of the beautiful things that came out of it, and movement forward. Think about that. We did not stay stagnant. Our mentality in those worlds did not stay stagnant. We kept moving upwards. Now, we understood the chaos and we tried to leave it behind as best as we could. But chaos, evil, all of those things that you consider stuff like that, it follows you still. And so those are the stories of Hajine Bahane. Ara Nehotsui Bigije, the first Paleo Indians, because this is where a lot of people get this misunderstanding that the Navajo people were here since the beginning of time, huh? If you look through our stories and history, the ne tsetak hit the nani kliniki kia ani the ne to khana the ne to dich eat ni do hashkishni the ne. We were not created during these times. We were created after, when Asana Klehe moved back before, when she moved back to the west. So all of these occurred before us. So think about those Paleo Indians that were here. Ara Nana, the separation of the sexes, the great flood, emergence, the fourth world. Ara Hojonja Bahane. In Hojonja, you say Hajine Tsepataki. Hajine Petate. Hot also the Zindosindante. Return of the mountains, the return of fresh water, creation, the sun, moon, stars, na ye not oje. All of these ceremonies here. Each family, clan, region had their own version of storytelling. And it was a form of entertainment. Right now, when we're done with this lecture, when we're done with this presentation, some of you are just going to go over there. Oh, what's on Hulu, honey? Yeah. Let's go watch on Netflix. There's a new season that's coming on. What date? Nisa, right? And so, form of entertainment, life lessons. At these stories, metaphors, analogies, cultural learning, indigenous education. This was our indigenous education. This is where you learn about the medicines, about the certain or the origins of certain plants, the origin of these medicines. Why is it that we use God the way we use God? Because na toche, na yeche, hojonje, all of these gave power to the plant that is juniper. And each part of the juniper tree, the bush, we use for specific ceremonies. And so to understand its uses, you have to understand the ceremonial origin of those things. And it's hard, it's complex, it's not in one book. Right now, you can't just go to UNM bookstore and pick up the complete history of Navajo history. There's no books like that. I wish there was, because then I'd be selling it too. Okay. So holistic education. Wow, we'll get to that. So if we do this, calculate it: 3 months times 30 days in a month times 4 hours a night on average. If we were getting these stories the way we would have been, or at least romantically thinking, we could have been 360 hours of quality lectures in one season. That's just straight storytelling. Okay. Times 15 years, that's 5,400 hours of quality storytelling. Now, that's not even including, your practicum. That's not including your labs. That's not including your. I'm just so minded in education. But do you see that quality time? And I know this because my che, we'd just be sitting there and out of nowhere. Dia bahashna. Then little old me said, Che, we're talking about monster birds. Tsa 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 tsa. And I used to stutter when I was small, so I say tsa 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 nale. And so he would start talking a good hour all about that part of the story. Continue on. So here it is. Get your screenshots. Get it. Take it. Look at this. The complexity of the hero twins. We have the birth of Change Woman, puberty ceremony, the land of the monsters, the Change Woman, her relationship with Sun Bear. That's another one that people leave out because that talks about the relationship between man and woman. The specifically those where it's codependent, negative relationships, where we as men, hashtanit, hey, I don't know what's wrong. I have to apologize for my genders. We're otanik. Yes, we really are. I don't know what's wrong with us sometimes. But anyways, men like us sometimes, some I won't even call them men. These boys, they go around, they say, "Hey, sweetie, hey, sweetheart," and they're married, and they're messaging you, right? They're sending you Instagram posts. They're doing all these crazy things they're not supposed to be doing, but they do it anyways, and they woo women. Oh, he was my only one. He was my love. He was the only. Oh, Shahar, he just left me. So there's kunna astope na intendahlo. The birth of the twins, the childhood of the twins, the journey of the twins, the guardians, the trials, temptations, the final test, the eradication, the education of the four monsters, celebration, the ghosts of the monsters return, return of the weapons, armor, the second return of the hero twins. This doesn't include the third and the fourth return of the hero twins to their father, Sun Bear. And then the various ceremonies and the life of the twins upon the Netra. So these stories, we have to begin to understand that these stories, you have to know Navajo. You really do. To fully understand the power of these stories, the nek is the stories are fluidic. I don't think I spelled that right. And change from Hatkashi to storyteller depending on their bias, depending on their approach to teaching and what life lessons they bring with it. Okay. So there will be variations in songs, prayers, even ceremonial protocol. And so I tell our students this: I'm not wrong in what I say here because this is my truth. This is how I learned it out. But then some of us are really rigid in the way we think. And I always hear that. Those guys over there. We start to create a division among ourselves and we say, we delegitimize others' ceremonies, others' history, others' storytelling, and say, I don't know why theirs is so wrong, mine's is right. I hear this all the time. And so I tell you, have a soft mind. In this case, openness, be open to what I have to share, okay? Understanding, and take what I say with a grain of salt because there might be something that I will say that might offend you. Really will. Learning these stories, songs, and prayers is not instantaneous. We want it right now. We want the complete Navajo history of ceremony on audibles. Audibles is, man. Do not expect to receive knowledge for free. Somehow, some way, you have to pay for this. All of you are sacrificing 1 hour of your life to sit here with me and listen to your. You guys are all sacrificing eye strain. Oh, that blue light. Oh man, that radiation causing light from the laptops. I'm so sorry. Just look away and put on earphones and imagine my voice. Or record. If you record this, it loses power. But again, I feel like we have to do some of these things sometimes, like right now, so that later on people will hear it. Okay. So let's go look at adolescent challenges. Excessive energy. When I first read this, I was like, this is ridiculous. Excessive energy is a challenge for adolescents. It's because they have to sit at a desk 8 hours a day when we were not meant to sit 8 hours a day at a computer screen. I could have been gloriously letting my hair down while I'm running with the horses and the cows and the sheep. I could have been in the woods right now with an axe in one hand, carrying a load of woods in the other, learning about nature, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and love. But nope, I have to sit here at a desk 8, 10, 16 hours a day and learn. Misunderstanding about sex. Yee, don't talk about sex. I don't want to hear it. You see it in movies, the stereotypes that fathers they don't want to talk about. Oh, you can talk about that, and then you come into the room, or the father goes into the room and says, "Hey, son, I don't know about if you heard like birds, bees, like forests, and like stuff like that. Right? Those awkward conversations. Aggressiveness and withdrawal. How do we deal with adolescents that are aggressive and withdraw themselves? Well, adolescents want to be heard. They become aggressive because they don't know their emotions just yet. They don't know how to navigate the complexity of our human emotion. Rebellious attitudes. The more you limit children, the more they're gonna rebel. Children have to push boundaries. That's the way they learn. Now, I'm not saying you put a thing of alcohol in front of them and tell them don't open it. Not stuff like that. You know, physical awkwardness. Growing up, we all went through this. I wish I was all buff. I did not get buff till the summer after high school. And then I got fat right afterwards. See, physical awkwardness. And excessive daydreaming. This one, I was like, I daydream all the time. But then guess what they call it? They say I'm ADHD. I don't know what that means again. ADD, emancipation, economic independence, emotional tension. Ooh, I like this one. I know. We all went through that stage, and some of you guys, as parents, is coming back to you, huh? I know. I know. Oh, you know everything, huh? Personal appearance, morphological developmental problems. Sometimes development issues and challenges arise. How do we overcome them as adolescents? So here's another one, psychological problem. I just copy and pasted this from Google, and I just looked up adolescent problems. If you want to look it up, somewhere in here, for I had the what was it called, the citation. If you want to look at it. So inferiority, superiority complex about skin color, beauty, mental ability, IQ. We have indigenous people, African American people, we have Hispanic people that do not like the color of their own skin. They're doing everything possible to chemically treat or lighten their skin. They're wearing jackets and sleeves out in the sun rather than soaking it up. We have family members that tell us, "Hey, you're too dark. Why you all dark?" And then we say, "Oh, she's so cute. Oh, Spahia, she's all light skinned." Where does that come from? That sure isn't in our culture. That's not there. Beauty. We're trying and constantly altering the way we look. We have insecurities about beauty because somebody told us somewhere that you have to look a certain way. There's a certain mascara you have to wear. There's a certain your hairline is starting to recede. You need Rogaine. Look at all these commercials that constantly pop up. These ads that come up on your thing. Mental ability, IQ. Somebody, there's always these tests on social media. Test your IQ. How smart are you? If you find this image in this image, you're smart. Only 5% of the population can find it, and they make you feel all special, warm, and fuzzy inside. You're like, yeah, I found a panda among the pandas. Some of you guys are looking at me like, what is he talking about? It's those crazy little images. It's like, where's Waldo? And if you apparently find it, you're in the top 5% of the world IQ. Diné. Um, Inexplicable perception about dress and fashion codes. There's a certain way to dress. There's a certain way of modest dress. There's a certain business attire, and if you don't adhere to these dress codes, you're gonna fail in life. Wrong and unrealistic ideology of friendship courtship. We tell our young boys, so hey, he's so handsome. He's gonna be a heartbreaker. All the girls are gonna have to fight me to get to you. They're gonna have to fight your grandma, huh? But then we don't say that to the girls over here. Oh, little baby girl, you're gonna be so beautiful. All the boys are. You're gonna have like 10 breakups by the time you're like fifth grade. We don't say that. Well, actually, we shouldn't be saying that, right? But why do we say that with boys? Then we keep going. Attraction towards the opposite sex, because this was all taught, at least for the men in Kache. How do you approach women? How do you approach notions of sexuality? How do you approach sex itself? These things may be taboo, but these things are taught in those settings. Women were taught separately about it. Men could just were taught separately about it. Okay. Exceptional vulnerability to suicide psychology. There's a path in life, and I'm sure you guys all seen. If you Google search novel philosophy, white, blue, yellow, black, childhood, adolescence, adult, elderhood, right? There's a pathway. I don't call a kin nakas. There's a pathway already made for us to live into old age and happiness. But some of us think about cutting that short. We don't make that full circle around. So how do we deal with that? And if you're an adolescent and you don't have help, it's going to be difficult. Here we go. Um, this is a lot of stuff right here. Intense closeness, brother, sister, friends. So right here, you create intense bonds with people. Like um, sometimes it may be with your own family, but other times think about gang relationships. You're my brother. I'm your brother. We're blood brothers because we went through thick and thin, ride or die. I'm behind you all the way, right? Unrealistic social perceptions about violence, love, sex influenced by media. We look at what they're showing us. Children see it. Now, there's that whole movement. Remember when people were saying video games incite violence? How there was all of that. Not saying I'm for it because I was playing video games on the other end, and my mom was getting mad at me. You're gonna kill people. No, no, mom, I'm just playing video games. We're fighting the Russians. Look, we're fighting, killing Nazis. See that? Why are you getting mad at me? And so that was something that I had to, we had to navigate. Fear, imagination about married life partners. There's no understanding sometimes of what married life is like. Children who grow up in homes where there is no mom, there is no dad, there's constant fighting. They gain this um, unrealistic perception of what married life is. They're saying mom gets beaten up, and then afterwards she gets roses and she goes to the dances, and it's happy for a few days, and then dad gets mad, beats her up, and then there's this cycle of violence, and so those things happen. Educational, this is where we see most of it. I see this tensions of attending classes, examination, test dates. Man, there's a lot of emphasis on this, right? And as a teacher, I know this firsthand. And I calculated the amount of testing days that we had in a calendar, and it was nearly 40% dedicated to testing, makeup, all of that stuff. Low IQ feeling. How many of you guys were in school and you're put in the red group, the blue group, the green group, the yellow group, and that was according to colors, reading level, math levels, right? You knew what group you were in because you looked at your friends and you're like, hey, man, we're here to party. And the other groups, you can see them like, shh, we're here to learn. Hello. And so you understand your where you're at. Fear about failure in examinations. We don't teach our children to fail sometimes. They're so afraid of failing that some kids just won't even attempt to fail. And so you have kids that just won't do anything. Fear about low scores. My mom tells me if I get an A minus, she's gonna get mad at me. She's gonna lecture me. She's gonna take away my phone. She's gonna do this. Fear and concern about a future career. She doesn't should wait. You have to do this. You have to get these good grades to get this good paying job. If you don't have a good paying job, you can't have these things. If you don't have these things, you're not gonna have a good life. Misconceptions about teachers. As a Navajo language culture teacher, this is what I go through. Students in my class come into my class already knowing and hating me because somebody before me said they were stupid, somebody before me embarrassed them, somebody before me condescended them, somebody before me said something to them, and now they're closed off. And so when they come into my classroom, they think I'm going to teach them colors, numbers, clans, animals, and clans. Colors, numbers, animals, clans, and what was the other one? Um, just I think like a generic um, curriculum of colors, numbers, animals, clans. And so I have students that are already disengaged. Okay, so that's where I'm at, and this is I know this is where we're at. Some of us, and this is how we feel sometimes as young adults, adolescents, young adults. Here we are. We just want to cry sometimes. We come upon an obstacle. We don't know what to do. Sometimes we're stuck here to the point where it's depressed, it's blame, denial, guilt, shame. Eventually, you get to a point where you just don't even try. And this becomes our life stage in adulthood. They call this stagnation. You get stagnant, you're not moving forward. And some of us probably know this feeling sometimes. So, how do we get over it? This is what I'm going to show you. When we're teaching our children, our students, when you're teaching your children, your nieces, nephew, grandchildren, teach them how to overcome an obstacle that they can easily overcome. You show them the tools, you show them how to use those tools, you show them the skills necessary to overcome that obstacle. So now, whoa, let's go back. That was it. So now, when they overcome this, they come upon another obstacle. Look at that. That cylinder changed just a little, right? That cylinder was small and now it's big. So you change, so they recognize an obstacles before them. It's a little bit bigger, but it's still manageable. And they get over that obstacle. Now they come upon this square looking, I don't know what's it called in math. Somebody tell me, like, what is that called? It's not a cube, it's a long cube thingamabob. And now they see it as an obstacle. Hey, there's 12 responses. Somebody said it, I bet you. A beam, thank you. There's a beam in front of them. See, I'm learning everything new. There's a beam. They recognize it now. They see it. There's corners. It's jagged. It's edged. But they can use their tools in a different way to overcome that obstacle. Karedinan, it's a taller beam. Hey, I'm using that word again. There's another beam again. And here they see it. It's a little bit higher. It's a little bit taller. But they have the tools, the knowledge, and the know-how. They're resilient, so they overcome that obstacle. Now they come upon this wall. Look at this. And now they look at it. They're not crying. They're really analyzing every little bit of it, every aspect of it. They're looking at the tools they have. They might try it a few times. They might fail a few times, but they keep going at it. So when you're teaching children, when you're teaching young ones how to overcome obstacles, start off small. You don't give a kid a pneumatic hammer, right? Some of you are laughing like, who does that? Some of you guys are like, what's a pneumatic hammer? It's one of those hammers that you hold in your hand and then you push a button and it sounds like tush. Hey, look at that. All us Navajo kids can make those sounds. Look, that's a helicopter. Look, there's a gun. Yeah, see the pneumatic hammer. Tush, tush, tush. You start them off with the little mallet. You start them off with a basic hammer. Then you go up to roofing hammers. You go up to framing hammers. You go to blacksmithing hammer. You show them the different types of hammers and what they're used for in different scenarios. Okay. If you're going to put a picture on a wall, are you going to give that kid a sledgehammer? And say, here, put this picture on the wall. No, they look at their tools. Okay, that's a sledgehammer. That's for rocks. I'm going to bust through the wall. But there's a place for that. When I'm demolishing the wall, I'll use that sledgehammer. No, you rest. Let me get my little hammer right here, the little cute one from the Stanley toolbox from Walmart. That's $14, huh? You get that little hammer. Tick, 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 tick. You put the nail in, then you put the picture on the wall. See? And so that's how we move about in life. But that's not always the case. Because some students, some kids, some children, some adults were going through all of these. And to experience this, to witness these things and to feel powerless, that's difficult. To see children go through this. And I often get questions like, Mr. Belin, how can I help? If you're a federal employee with the BIE or grant school, you are mandated to report any of these instances. Reporting it is the first step. You're going to create tension, you're going to create animosity, you're going to create hate, but it is your legal responsibility to report these things, right? If it's your own family members, it's difficult because you don't want to get involved. Maybe you think that they're too far gone. Don't just leave it. Just leave them. Let them be. They're just alcoholics. They're gonna die anyways. But is that really how we should view our relatives, our chays? Oh, when I go to Gallup and I see our elders still working at Sonic, our elders working at McDonald's or Wendy's, our elderly walking beside the road, drunk, passed out. Oh, it pains me to see our elders going through that. That's just our elders. Then we go to our adults right now. There's a lot of misguided people. There's a lot of young adults that are going through these broken families, sexual assault. You see depression, bullying. You see them losing people, alcoholism. You see um, expectations, skinny, fat, slender, all of those things, drugs, alcohol, all of these things, whatever I miss too, it affects us. Sometimes indirectly, sometimes directly. How do we help those people? How can we help ourselves and how can we help our students? Well, here we go to this portion. Oh man, 24 minutes. I have 6 minutes, then I have to cut off the presentation, and you guys go home. Just kidding. If you guys want to stay on a little longer, I'm okay with that. Okay. So number one, the hero twins, when they left home, they said, "Mom, Helen and Ja." 3 times, Astanak Lehet denied them their father. Finally, the fourth time, Shama, Helen and Ja. Finally, she said, "Netka e Johana e." Your father is a ruthless, evil man. Dots it out bata. He is not kind. He's monstrous at times. And they said, that's not why we're going to see him. We need to see him to get these weapons to eradicate these monsters. Whatever he did to you, whatever he feels for us, we have to. We're going to get over that. But we need those tools that he owes us. We need those tools. So finally, go about your journey. Hopefully, you understand all of what we taught you. And so the first monster they faced on their way to Sunbear's home was the cliff swallows. And the cliff swallows, one popped up and started flying in front of them. A second one, a third one. These cliff swallows were flying in such a beautiful pattern that the boys became mesmerized by it. And they almost walked off a cliff. Look at this as peer pressure. Where have your friends taken you? Where have your friends taken your child? Where have your friends taken your students? Peer pressure can lead a person off the cliff. The next one, cutting reeds, the hero twins kept walking. They came upon these reeds. And right here, these reeds started to sway back and forth. And they first waited. I just said, "Show, wait here, watch this." And a deer, as cautious as it was, walked up to the water. The reeds didn't move just yet. The deer looked up, looking around, drank water again. After some time, the deer looked up, drank water, and that's when the reeds, the leaves turned to knives and it cut up that deer. As cautious as that deer was, it still died. Feeling safe in a dangerous situations, we have to deal with these things. There are people out there that are sexual predators. There's people out there that are your friends. They welcome you in and they say, we'll protect you. Then later on, you have to do these things for them. There's all of these things where they make you feel safe in the beginning, but then they hurt you or kill you or take your life. Next one, number 3. Obvious and open dangers. Right here, they came upon a cactus. I don't know why it is with us people. This is just butcher block conditioner, but let's just imagine this is a can of wine. We already know right here this is dangerous, huh, Beit Hadina? You know, if you take 1, 2, 3, you're calling your ex, take me back, no, right? You already know this is dangerous. You already know how this has affected your family. You know there's even warning signs right here. But why do we still take it? Well, we rationalize. I'm just a social drinker. I just have one after work to decompress. It just takes one. Next thing you know, you're over here clowny status at Walmart at 10 o'clock at night, hiding from your coworkers, getting up beer and alcohol and wine. But anyways, you want to go up to hug a cactus. Nana moving sand, say God. Ever present danger right now on the road. Tomorrow night, Friday night, even tonight. There's drunk drivers out there. There's people that are not in their right mind. They want to hurt somebody. There's people right now that have access to guns and weapons. They want to hurt somebody. There's somebody out there. There's a drunk driver. What happens if you go out on the road? There's a chance of danger, right? You don't know when it's going to happen. Some of our schools, we don't know when gun violence might happen. We always hear about in the news it's going to happen way out there with the West Coast, East Coast, but then Aztec gun shooting happened. All of these things, We don't know suicide. Again, you don't know who it's going to happen to, when it's going to happen. Expanding canyon. They kept walking and came upon this crack in the ground. They were ready to walk over until Abiyaja said, "Wait, show." This deer again started walking, and it was ready to jump over the crack, and the crack expanded into a canyon, and that deer fell to its death. Think about addictions. It only takes one time, apparently, for meth for you to become addicted to it. It only takes one free sample before you're addicted to something. It only takes one ad on Facebook for before you're spending $200 on Candy Crush in secret, trying to hide the bill from your spouse. I know and live that from experience. Learn from my mistake. So enabling, we enable these people with addictions. We enable our children. Swallowing wash. The twins came upon this wash, and Shabiyaja said, "Shoh, and they looked at it and they said, "It's dry. There's nothing here. It's not even raining." But then they looked upstream, 15, 20 miles away. It's raining upstream. But imagine somebody in an immature mind, they're not going to see that rainstorm upstream and think it's going to come down to here and wash away. So they saw another deer walk across the wash, and they heard a roar. And this wash, all of this flood, this flash flood took away those deer. And they looked inside that wash and they saw people asking for help. But there's some people that we can't help. They've already been washed away. How can we help those? Well, trying to go into a wash is dangerous. Clashing canyons. There's sometimes you're going to have to come upon a dangerous situation. You're going to have to enter that dangerous situation. Think of some of your jobs right now. Some of you are essential workers. You know the danger that COVID poses, and you have to be there to earn a living. But you take every precaution. You use scientific evidence, PPE. You double mask. You do everything possible. You use that faith that you're not going to catch COVID. You know, wash your hands. You know these things, all of these things. If you follow these procedures, these things, and you say your prayers, your faith is going to help you. The last one I like to talk about, because this is where we're all at, some of us, arrogance. The hero twins were so full of themselves by this time. They came up to this path and it forked. One went to the right, one went to the left. And there was an old man standing there, and the twins came up upon him, and the old man, yeah, there's a so don't need. And the elder says, "Where are you guys going?" And the twins said, "We're going to our father." "Which way?" "To our father, Sun Bear." The old man says, "Both these paths go to your father. But let me tell you, if you take this path to the right, you're going to age and die before you reach the end. But it's easy." And the twins looked at it and they saw the ocean glimmering in the distance, and they said, "What is right there? It's just right there." But the elder, the old man says, "No, listen, go the long way, the hard way, all the way around. It'll take you the whole day, but you'll make it to the other end." But the twins didn't listen. They kept walking. They kept walking. Soon they came upon an old couple again. And they said, "Yeah, this it's so kahagosho." And the twins said, "We're going to our father." "We know. Turn around. Listen to us. Turn around. Listen to us. Listen to us. Right here, right now. Turn around." The twins said, "Nah, we know what we're doing." "I know." Don't need. They kept walking. Then they started looking. They started getting wrinkles. They started noticing that each other was getting older. Then they came upon three couples, or three elders, and they said, "Yeah, it's okay. We know where you're going. Turn around. Go back the other way. We're telling you. But the twins said, "You well, oh, it's okay. Don't worry. We're all right. Look at us. We're fine men." They kept walking. This time they started crouching over. They started hunching over, and they saw the end of the path. And they all four of the old people were there, the elders, and they walked up. The twins fell to the ground, and they're crying. They're aching. They're ready to die. And the elders come up to them. We are the old age people. Why didn't you listen to us? This is lectures that we hear as the net people. Why didn't you listen to us? We told you. Why didn't you listen to our experience? Why didn't you listen the first time? But here you are begging and groveling before us. This is the only time we're going to help you and take you out of death. And so the twins started to apologize. I'm sorry, we'll listen to you. And the old age people picked them up and started walking back. That's where you get something there too. Not yet, just something. So, yes, you show. Sang, yes, you shot. Sa, yes, you shot. Now, yet, there's gonna nishle. Koba just chin in nishle. And those are the old age songs. And so they took him back to the path. They came back and they said, "We'll listen. This is where they allowed old age to live." And they went there a long way. It wasn't even that long. It wasn't even a full day. They were so well fit and well trained. This long journey that was supposed to take a whole day only took an hour. Think about some of the tasks that we do sometimes. Right now, I see my bachelor's degree sitting on my wall, and I look at it and I think, stupid me, I could have got that like 5 years earlier. Yes. What was I doing? Yeah, I was just so love spellbound and enjoying Fort Lewis College and not like that. But anyways, so but then they finally went to their father's house. Here we go. Their father tried to kill those two twin boys 5 times. The knife pillars, he threw them into a hole and tried to grind them with these knives. And it teaches us flexibility, adaptability. If you can't be flexible with your plans and you're rigid, people aren't gonna like you. Here's an example. My dad, let's go. We're supposed to have left 5 minutes ago. I hope some of you are laughing because that's how some people are, right? Come on, let's go. Let's stick to the schedule. And then when the schedule doesn't go their way, oh man, I don't know what we're supposed to do. The presenter is supposed to have been here a long time ago. Oh man, what's going on? Oh, you start freaking out, you start getting stressed. Next thing you know, you're like me and you're starting to have a receding hairline. Number 2, jagged knife wall. The sun bear threw his sons against the wall of all these knives. But Jonah told them, I'm going to help you this one time too. When he throws you against the wall, I'm going to wrap you with this white cloud. And so when you hit it, you're just going to bounce off. So he threw them to the white wall. They bounced off twice to the southern, to the western, northern. And the boys bounced back and they said, man, that was fun. That was a cool bouncy house, Dad. John, he got mad and then he threw him in the sea. I don't know if you've ever gone swimming, polar bear swimming in the sea, but it teaches you endurance, hope, and pain. Pain hurts, right? Then we move to the sweat bath, physical intensity, resiliency. I don't know if you've ever been in a sweat lodge, a traditional Navajo sweat lodge. It's dry heat, 140, 160, 180 degrees from those red glowing lava rocks. And if you're not used to it, you start to hyperventilate. you start to freak out, you start to get anxiety. And so we used to teach ourselves, our grandparents would teach us, run to the east with water in your mouth, breathe through your nose. Bilakanas, breathe through your nose. All right, let's go all breathe with me. Inhale with your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Here we are at night. Or when you see kids running, when they're first learning to run. Such mouth breathers. But when we run, it's through the nose. So teach your children to run with breathing through their nose. And so when you're in tache, all of those thoughts, your heart's racing, your mind is thinking you're going to die. I just want that fresh air. Just open the door. Just let me out. And you're crying and you're on the ground and the dirt looking all somehow cheap in-law status. Learn to breathe. It's funny when I teach these high school students, they're like, let's go learn to breathe right now. I hate that yoga stuff, that new age stuff. But then you give them this traditional story about breathing. All right, boys, okay, let's go breathe. It just needs cultural context. I don't know that this poison smoke. What it teaches us is that some person will try to manipulate and pervert your spirituality. Okay? They're going to try to give it to you. They're going to try to poison you. They're going to try to manipulate you with it. They're going to try to say, hey, I see in the fire right now, right here. That person's witching you. There, look right here. You see it in the fire? Give me 200 right now, and I'll take out that chinitsin from your neck. That's why you have all those neck pain right here. Oh, man. Then you're like, oh, yeah, I seen them. There's a man in a white truck that keeps coming by. I don't know who that is. I tell the kids that, and then like after the story, you're like, Mr. Belin, don't you drive a white truck? I said, half the Navajo Nation drives a white truck. It's the most common vehicle color. Then the last one. Let's get through this. I'm almost done. Bear with me, okay? Here, Jonah A tried to tempt the twins again. One last time he tried to tempt them. He took him to his vault. And in the eastern room was jewelry, clothing, jewels, stones, gold, silver, all of these things. And he tried to tempt the boys. This is us, material wealth, get rich quick, social status, consumerism, materialism, brand loyalty. I only buy Yeezys and Jordans and Dolce Gabbana and Gucci. I don't go anywhere unless it's Italian and it's over $2,000. Here I am wearing my same Walmart polo for like 5 years. I only wear our area and 20X. Wranglers below me. It's cheap, then. Don't talk to me. Then they took them to the south and showed them corn, beans, squash, and the foods. There's a cool thing if you look up Stanford marshmallow experiment. They take a marshmallow and they sit a kid down and they tell him, hey, I'm going to give you a marshmallow, but if you take it now, you can eat it. That's okay. But if you wait 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and you don't eat this marshmallow, I'll give you 2. And what they found was that kids that are, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, kids that don't have those basic necessities, meeting their needs, food, water, security, they're going to immediately take that marshmallow. But if a kid has food, home, security, water, love, and attention, they're going to really fight. And they're going to really fight internal struggle. You see these little kids on YouTube, they're like, 5 minutes is a long time to wait for 2 marshmallows. Look it up. It's pretty cool. Delayed gratification is what's it called. Fast food, man, right now. Hey, let's go to McDonald's. Tacos, takan. Hey, Mac sauce. God, I hear my niece. She just said wet in the background. Processed food, eating disorders, cravings. Man, dang, right now I'm craving a smoke. Then he took him to the western room. Wild game, deer, elk, wilderness riches. So trophies. I'll only take the biggest elk and throw the meat away. Laziness, instant gratification. We're in a stage in an era in our life where I can sell you a pill for $100 a pop if it'll get you skinny in 2 weeks. Right here, take my money, man. I want to get skinny in 2 weeks. I want to lose this tire around me. Entitlement, limitless resource mentality. This is what killed off and helped push the destruction and disbursement of the Nasaza, one of them. Then finally, the northern room, horses, cattle, livestock, rich rangeland. Think of that lottery ticket mentality. Man, if I just win the lottery, that's all I need. Shadiyan God, Ashana, give me the winning lottery tickets right now. Cut the thing, Shancha, right here, the winning ticket. Going all over, huh? Compulsive buying disorder. We made Jeff Bezos rich. Some of you are like, I don't know who that is. How many Amazon? How much your wish list? And how much have you? Well, I'm helping the United States Postal Service. All right. Value of life. How do we determine the value of life? Because right now I can go online and buy a husky dog for $500. My insurance values me at $60,000. Is that all I'm worth? Hey, money gives you control over others. Man, I'm rich. I can do whatever I want for $1. I pay. I want you to lick this hand for $1. Yeah, I usually do it to my sisters. They don't do it for $1 no more. I think they go like for 20 now.
Maybe you froze? Mr. Belin? Maybe it froze. Let's see what's going on. Uh-oh, I think we lost him. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Diné Culture Night. We invited Mr. Belin, and I hope you're enjoying his story. Perhaps he froze and needed to disconnect and might rejoin shortly here. So while we're waiting for him, we are the Navajo language program, and we invite a speaker every month to talk, to give a short cultural presentation, to share something, some of their own knowledge. And this video will be available on our YouTube channel, so please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And then next month, we'll have another presenter who will talk about child-infant massage and bring some perspectives. She'll infuse some cultural perspectives into that for next month. So, do we see Mr. Belin yet?
Yes, he's Adam as a co-host again.
Okay. And I hope you're enjoying this evening's talk. Please be patient. Technical difficulties. And So I think if you have any questions, he'll take questions at the end. And he said he only had a few more minutes to wrap up his presentation. So we're definitely patient on our end. We're not wanting to rush this. So if it takes him, 10 more minutes to finish up, we're definitely okay with that. And then he'll be available for some questions afterwards. Unless he ran out of
But you have Melv, you have to add him the co-host on your end.
oh, where is he? Is it Kevin?
Yeah, so you can search up top. If you put you can type his name in the participants.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Make him co-host.
Okay, here we go.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. I know I went on this beautiful prayer for all of you and it just cut out. I didn't even, my eyes were closed and I just kept talking away. The neighbor actually called and said, hey, so you're, you froze or something. The neighbor's listening. Hi. Anyways, sorry about that. I was really going. I was lecturing away. My eyes was closed. I had to apologize. I'm only on 1 gig of data. Anyways, the Haslin ya now is here. Na yet is gonna nishle. Just chinning nishle. Johna epi yet nishle. Johna epi yajin nishle. Etta Johna epa gant ni niya. So there's these affirmations that you have here, these precepts to follow. And one of the things that I usually tell people and I try to share is like prayer, learning to pray for yourself. I know if you Google online Navajo prayer, it'll give you that format to follow, right? Right? But how do we pray when we're in, let's just say, for lack of a better word, the deepest, darkest place that we are? A person contemplating suicide, a person in depression, a person battling anxiety, a person that's being torn apart so much that they're contemplating suicide. And so there's a word for we use for hochonja and nayeje. When you start off the prayers, you say ayatij. Hasjay skin the way neyajan the turn the slen. Hasjay one the way neyajan the turn the slen. Ayatij asana klehen the way neyajan the turn the slen. Yoskay asan kon the way neyajan the turn the slen. Ayatij. When I hear that, the way I heard it and understand it, it's saying all the things that have happened to me that have brought me to this point in time in my life right now. All of the things, the evil things that people did to me, the things that were done to me, the things that I went through, the darkness, all of those things that have brought me to this point that I'm praying to you right now. Because it sounds weird to say, I want to kill myself right now. It just doesn't sound right, huh? It really doesn't. And so, you say, I am the son of Sun Bear. I went through all of those trials. I overcame all of those monsters. I overcame all of those temptations. I am your son. I am your child. I am that precious little one. I am Monster Slayer. I am child born of water. I am here before you right now in my darkest time. The great black bear walks in front of me, behind me, beside me. It roams all around me. The great mountain lion walks in front of me, behind me, beside me, all around me. The great snake walks in front of me, behind me, beside me, all around me. The lightning goes all around me, before me, all the great winds in front of me, behind me, beside me, all around. And so you wrap yourself in these guardians. Then you go into and so there's these prayers, these format. And what it's doing is it's protecting you. Right here is that path back to that light, back to that Kadadina teen. So when you're lost in your deepest, darkest places, these animals, guardians, you become the heroine of this story. You put on that armor. So when those evil things that are happening to you, those evil things that are around you, all of these negativity all around you, that armor protects you and brings you back to Sa'ah Naghibik Ahajan. And so that's how we pray, which is why it's important to understand the language, because if you don't understand the language and you pay $300 to a medicine man, this is what you're gonna hear. I always use this because when I was in Durango, this person said, say a prayer for me. I said, okay. Magat sope but seat let's so nashlam magat sope not let's so go baby shot magat so nazaki konya shikdays in. And it's like saying the great monkey is behind me. The great monkey with the great yellow eyes is watching me. The great monkey is walking with me like Bigfoot. And see, if you don't know the language, you don't know what the medicine man's praying over you. You're just like, Tadidin here, Tadidin there, just Tadidin everywhere. And so when you're following that medicine man, he's telling you all of these, he's telling you, pray with me, pray after me. Pray for yourself. You're essentially taking on that role, praying for yourself. You're saying okay? So you're aligning yourself back onto that path. That medicine man over here is merely the facilitator for you as the hero of this story to move forward in your life. He's not going to mend bones. He's not going to make a secret potion like on Harry Potter and boom, overnight your bones get fixed. Not like that. But he realigns your social, psychological, socio-emotional self. So here are some things right here. 7 highly effective habits of leaders. Visualizing, working towards your dreams. Look on TEDx, language of love. All of these things right here. Seek that information. It's out there. It's free. Listen to those podcasts. I don't like it, but my other half, my fiance, she's always listening to podcasts, and I'm driving. I already know this stuff. It's in our songs and prayers. And she's like, I know, but you just need to hear it again. It's audibles. Okay. There are books on tape. Dang, just that old, huh? Books on tape. How do we use these daily teachings in our life? First of all, overcoming your daily monsters. 4 monsters were left behind for you: sleep, lice, hunger, and old age. Every day, I bet you they're overcoming you. They really are, and I know it. This morning, did you guys get up on time? I always get up at 4 o'clock. But some of us hit that snooze, huh? That snooze. Mine's is at 4 o'clock, 4:03, 4:07, 4:15, 4:21, 4:27, 4:33. And then each one of them, I wake up, clear my eyes, and hit snooze. Wake up, hit snooze. Wake up, hit snooze. Wake up, hit snooze. Wake up, hit snooze. Then next thing you know, it's 7:58 and my class is meeting at 8:05. And you guys are, you don't really do that, do you? I'm not going to say anything. So already, this took you. Sleep has taken you. And because sleep has taken you, did you properly bathe yourself this morning? Did you brush your teeth? Did you brush your hair? Did you just smell that shirt from yesterday? That's still good. Did you get your Axe body spray? And just go run out the door? Right there, yacht has taken you. And because you woke up late, you didn't have enough time to get dressed. Now I bet you on the way to work you stopped by Durango Joe's, Dutch Bros, Starbucks. You hear up and get the most expensive drink. You're like, I don't care if I'm late. They need me. They won't fire me. And now you get the most sugary drink that there is, plus the most sugary pastry that there is. Now hunger has taken you. You keep doing this for 20 years, then you wonder later on in life, I don't know why I got this big. I really tried exercising. I watched my diet. The inta sa has come for you. Old age has come for you. We have relatives that are leaving this life early, 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old because of diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure. All of these monsters have taken them. And it's bad to tell them, hey, those were some of your life decisions. But was it really theirs if in life that early in life those childhood traumas had taken them? Should we blame their parents? Should we blame them? Who should we blame? Let's blame the government because it's just easy to do that. Let's go on Facebook right now. US government. Who else can we blame? The US government. Who else is on our list? Governor Susana Martinez. Nana, let's go. I'll blame her. Nana, who else is next on the list? Jonathan Nez, where's my check? Some of you turn off your cameras to laugh. It's okay. LOL. LMAO. Old age. So recognize these monsters at home, school, working in your environment. Okay. So there's fight, flight, freeze, or face the issues. Because as a kid, this was me, fight or flight, right? When the bully comes up to you, do you fight him? No, you run away, okay? That's what we're taught. That crazy lion from the DARE program came up and taught us that. You guys remember that? Drug abuse resistant education, that lion with the black DARE shirt. But face the issues, face these challenges, and face these obstacles. Because if you just run away from them, if you run away from uneasy, how would you say it, from workplace quarrels and arguments and whatnot, from situations, challenging situations, you're always going to do that. You're going to create a habit for yourself. This is where that teaching, only you and only you can overcome your insecurities, guilt, shame, blame, denial, and other emotions you sit with. We say this. He's sitting with anger. Look at me. I'm sitting, I'm allowing myself to pout. I'm allowing depression to overcome me. Not to tell you this. It's okay to feel angry when it's warranted. It's okay to feel sadness. It's okay to feel fear. It's okay to feel these emotions. But when you let these emotions take over you and it overcomes you and it dictates your reaction, it dictates your life, that's when it becomes detrimental. Understand this. You are loved, you are wanted, you're sacred. بياجية نزلة بياجية نشلة بياجية نشلة بياجية نشلة نشلة نشلة. Those are Kwaho John Justin. I am the child of I am, I am, I am, I am. I am the child of talking God. I'm the child of home God. I'm the child of the early morning dawn, child of the evening sky. I am wanted. I am sacred. I am loved. You are not alone. Recognizing your imperfections and asking for help is step one. And that's what this image is here. So there's two of them. We start off in darkness. Aro kojin hotsui. Aro halkag. Are enta njunun sahakis. Njunun nahata. Njunun ina. Njunun sihasen. This is what I teach my students. This is what I'm telling you. This is the Diné way to get yourself out of these emotional obstacles that are before you. If you're in darkness, self-reflection, identify where you're at, identify your emotions, identify your reactions, identify what is the problem, the challenge. Then you go over to blue, plan for it. Plan, how can I attack this obstacle? How can I go around this obstacle? How can I overcome this? Then action. Right here is where we fall in this vicious loop, because some of us like that tension. Oh, Shajopa, like and heart my reactions. I'm just so overwhelmed. Everybody hates me. They're witching me. Oh man, my boyfriend just left me again. He says, oh, he's like this and like that. And some people just love that attention. Some people like to plan like me. This is where I get stuck. Oh, you know, I'm going to start my diet Monday. Monday comes around. I know, I'll start Wednesday. Then Wednesday comes along. I didn't know. Oh, we'll start Monday again. The next thing you know, it's Thanksgiving. You know what? I can't do anything this whole holiday season. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. We'll wait till New Year's. New Year's comes around. You're partying hardy. Next thing you know, you, New Year, new me. And then I tell my students, you know what? I was just kidding about New Year, new me. I'm waiting until the Chinese calendar. Then you get stuck in planning. And then you fall back over here. How about action? This is where a lot of people fail too. I started exercising. I did 15 sit-ups last night. How come there's no results? Just leave it then. I'm okay being fat. Oh man, somebody help me out. Life isn't helping. Keto. I tried it. Then I tried it for 2 weeks and it failed. See, this is where we stop. But if you can move forward, you get here. Then you go into now. Now, this is how we get into how we practice. They're two separate things, but they work together. This is how our right and left works together. My right hand is nowhere near identical as my left, but somehow they manage to work together, right? It's not like the United States government where, oh, my right hand's the best and the greatest right here. My right hand does so much better than my left hand. My left hand's just all like, oh, I don't know, it's so snowflake. How crazy do you have to think like that by your own hands, right? These two work together. Look at this. Yay, let's clap our hands because that's good teachings right there. Make sure you copyright and you cite me for that. Mr. Belin sent this to me, okay? God. That was a lot, huh? 708. That's people say I talk too much sometimes. I knew this was gonna happen. I apologize if we went over time. I know there's chat. I'm so sorry. Here's my contact, my email. If you're gonna email me, and you're lonely and depressed, want to leave your husband, don't email me. Just kidding. Joke. I jokes. That's an Alaskan thing, apparently. That's what my fiance says. I jokes. I jokes. But if you have questions, if you have anything, whatnot, remember, I'm not a guru. If you add me on Facebook, all you're gonna see is Bernie memes. You're not gonna get these beautiful, wonderful daily affirmations of nah, that's not me. You go follow somebody else for that. Over here, you're gonna see Bernie and cat memes, okay? There's my Facebook if you really want to follow it. Hashkehajon Design Collaborative, and then there's my website. I have to think really quick, my fiance, because if it wasn't for her, I can't. You make me the man that I am. I shouldn't. That's with love, but she laughs at me. Biga. Oh,
Sheila, yeah, Kevin, does anyone have a question they would like to ask? We can take like maybe 3 questions. You can unmute yourself, perhaps, if you want to ask a question. I hope you guys enjoyed this evening's presentation, and you were able to connect the hero twin stories to adolescent development. So that was the basis of this talk today. Kevin, Mr. Belin. So, Hagoshila, that's it. We are done for the night. Thank you for attending.
oh, going